was going to start off with a bit of advice. I'm not really very good at giving out advice. I'll give an example of how. I was in a supermarket and I saw this young couple wandering round, and the girl said to her boyfriend, "Have we got everything?" And he said, "I think so." And I looked in their basket and all they had was a bottle of rosé and a cucumber. And I just thought, there's no way they've got everything else they need in for a salad. And what I should have said is, lube, love. That's what you need. Lube. But I didn't. Just got to learn the hard way. Well, the bit of advice I've got is for the ladies in the room. I've discovered as a woman how you know whether or not you're overweight. It's during the throes of passion when your partner picks you up, whether or not they say 1, 2, 3 first. It's my favourite joke. It's getting less funny as the days go on. Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. The show is called Chatterbox because that's kind of what I've always been. Talking was sort of the only thing I was criticised for at school. By the teachers. I was criticised by the other kids for loads of things. Something of a nerd. It's really hard to believe, isn't it? I think it's quite cool that the thing I was criticised for is now my job. That's quite cool, isn't it? Fuck you, teachers. Just hope the same fate didn't befall the school bike. At an early preview, a man came up to me and he said, "Is your show Chatterbox based on the film Chatterbox?" And I had no idea that there was a film called Chatterbox. I got in and I Googled it. Such a film does exist. It's American. It was made in 1977. It's not available on DVD, which gives you a fair indication of the quality of the thing. And the film Chatterbox is about a woman with a talking vagina. So that man who came up to me must have thought it was going to be a live stage version. He must have walked in and gone, "Well, that microphone stands too high for a start." But I have managed to get a hold of the film on video, proper old school, and I've only seen the first 2 minutes, but I've already decided that it's brilliant. In the first 2 minutes, a man and a woman have sex. They finish. She says something like, "That was lovely." This doesn't sound very American, does it? I can't really do accents. I've made it sound more Geordie than it actually was, haven't I? "That was champion, pet." That's what I say after sex. Unless it wasn't champion, I'm no fucking liar. So she's relatively positive about the experience, and then her vagina goes, "It was all right." How many times have you wanted to say that? "It'll do. I'll do it properly on my own later on, don't worry." Only that the women are laughing and the blokes are doing this. This is gonna be shit. But it's nice to be out amongst so many people. I do spend a lot of time on my own. I live on my own. I do like living on my own, though. When I first decided I wanted to live on my own, my mum and dad don't really understand why people would want to live on their own. My mum said, people only live on their own if they've got no friends. And then my dad made me look up the word hermit in a dictionary. But my dad he did give me some good advice when I was looking for flats. He said, "I don't think you should get one that's got a balcony." What with living on your own, there will be a high suicide risk. Just wondered if I should have been bearing that in mind when I was viewing properties. You know, is that oven gas or electric? Is that light fitting really strong? Could have told a decent weight. 10 stone. Fuck off. 11 stone. And a half. And another fucking half. But I like living on my own. Does anybody else live on their own? Give us a wave if you live on your own. We've got a nice lady here. What's your favourite thing about living on your own, love? The telephone. I like that you did that. Just in case, it's just the north I live in. It's not, the dark ages. The telephone. Why, did somebody not let you have a telephone in the old days when you lived with other people, you poor bugger? Did you live under the stairs? In what way, the telephone? So I can speak to people, she said. No, I know what a telephone's for, love. It's going to be one of those nights, isn't it? Who else lived on their own? Give us another wave. Hello, Flower. Nice lady at the back there. What do you like about living on your own, love?
Walking around naked.
Walking around naked. Here's a confident woman. No, it's good, because I've got a friend who lives on her own. I said, what's your favourite thing about living on your own? She said, whenever I do a massive fart, I go, good girl. You can have that if you like. Lady at the back, is it a flat or a house that you've got?
Flat.
A flat. And if somebody broke into your flat while you were in it, what would you hit them with? Have you thought this through?
Not so much.
No, well, let's have a think now. If you're like... We've got a fixer. If you're like in the living room, for example, is there something to hand that you could clobber somebody with?
Remote control?
A remote control, you see? Multi-purpose. I can watch whatever telly I like and I can fucking hit somebody. No, because I asked a lady recently and she didn't know either, and I said, what's normally to hand? And she went, empty bottles? So I don't even think you'd notice if somebody broke in. I don't care who you are. Shut the door on your way out. So I can feel a fucking draft. My friend's got a rounders bat down the side of her bed. For protection. But she's been told by a policeman that that's not allowed. It's classed as an offensive weapon. The only way she's allowed to have a rounders bat down the side of her bed is if it's accompanied by something it would normally accompany. So now she's got a rounders bat and a rounders ball as well. And I'm the same, because I've got a massive knife and a massive fork. So if somebody breaks in with a big lump of steak, I'm champion. But I live in a flat as well, and the flat directly opposite mine has been empty the whole time that I lived there, so I just never bothered getting any curtains. And I regularly wander around in just me knickers, because I'm 35 and I don't give a shit. But a friend came around for a cup of tea and she said, have you noticed that some young lads have just moved into the flat opposite you? I said, oh, I hadn't noticed. She said, don't you think it's time you got yourself some curtains? So as far as I'm concerned, if some young lads are looking at me wandering round in me knickers, I'm still the winner. Just wonder how long it's going to be before they get fucking curtains. Look at me. Shh. Please. But I think I'd quite like an animal at home. I think that would make the place feel a little bit more sort of cosy. Give us a cheer if you've got a pet at home. There's loads of you. See, I'd quite like a cat. If I could have any animal, I'd probably have a cat. But I can't have a cat because my boyfriend's allergic to cats, so I can't have one. Well, precisely, Flower. We'll split up and that'll sort it out. Most people don't have something to look forward to at the end of a relationship. Do they? I can't wait till he starts fucking other women. I'm off to the pet shop, won't you? But if I did get an animal, I'd have to be careful, because whenever I had animals as a child, I always loved them a little bit too much. There's a name for people like me. It's a hamster squeezer. Look at his little face. When I was about 7, I had a little dog and I loved it so much. Have you ever stroked a dog so hard you could see the whites of its eyes? Then when you stroke along its back, its little back legs buckle because of the pressure. I do worry about my boyfriend. Because I love him so much. Love him so much. No. Look at his little face. Is Spunk supposed to be red? No. That's a great reaction. The women are laughing and the blokes are going, don't do that, that's not fucking funny. Now is probably quite a good time to tell you that I'm a lot ruder than I am on the telly. So brace yourselves. But I tend to feel guilty as well. And the thing I feel guilty about the most at the moment is the fact that I don't give blood. Give us a cheer if you give blood on a regular basis. There's a few could always be marketing. I think it's the marketing that's to blame, because I heard the advert on the radio and the advert goes like this. Would you like to save a life? And I thought, not really bothered. Do I know them? But I've heard that you get a half-hour sit down. Is that right? You get a half-hour sit down? Yeah? You get a cup of tea, is that right? Oh, biscuit. Did you know about the biscuits? Who said biscuits? Where you live? Nice lady there. What kind of biscuits do they have? What's the best biscuit that they have at your place?
Bourbons.
Oh, Bourbons, and somebody in the middle went, yeah. Got a big Bourbon fan in tonight. So can anybody do, the Bourbon's pretty good. Can anybody do better than a Bourbon at their blood place?
Club biscuits.
Club biscuits. Who said that? Where are you, fella? Hello, fella. Do they have a variety of club biscuits or just the one flavour?
I'll just go for the orange one.
You just go for the orange ones. You're not a hero at all, are you? Just going for the free orange clubs. Excellent. We've got. Are we going to get any better than an orange club? I don't know. What was that? Party rings. Are you 9? Are they fanned out, like on a plate, all fancy? That's what I'd want. Jelly and ice cream as well. That would... Party rings. I haven't had a party ring in years. Can anybody do better than party rings at orange clubs? No, that's it. They've got no... I'm sorry, I could compete with the lady with the Bourbon, but I'm fucked against the orange clubs. But you see, this is the sort of thing that we need to know, isn't it? This should be in the advert. The advert shouldn't be, would you like to save a life? The advert should be... Do you like sitting down? I do love sitting down. Do you like cups of tea? I love cups of tea. We've got party rings. Oh, if you've got party rings, why don't you see if you need some fucking bone marrow while we're on? I did a show in Manchester and a lady shouted at my place, if you pretend you don't feel very well, they give you a sandwich. Prawn mayonnaise. It was lovely the way I was introduced there. It's a lovely thing to get used to in a job when somebody says your name and people clap and cheer. It's really nice. It was a bit weird at the doctor's the other day. Because no one fucking clapped. Every time I said clap, I think they thought that's what I had. But I was having a bit of a faff on Twitter backstage. Give us a cheer if you're on Twitter. It's fun, isn't it? Can be fun. It's also a little bit weird sometimes. Got a message from a fella a few weeks ago. He said, I've got a bit of spare time on me hands, and I don't know whether to watch some porn or you. That struck me as being quite odd. I don't really know anything about porn, but from what I can gather, it's sort of fantasy, isn't it? Sort of unachievable things, isn't it? Whereas I put myself firmly in the bracket of achievable. So that man's fantasy is a middle-aged, slightly overweight woman who just witters on. Just wander around Asda, there's hundreds of me. Look along the end of your sofa, you might well be fucking married to one of me. But I live in a flat, I live in a block of flats, and I came out the front door a few months ago and there was just a shoe on the pavement. You've all seen that happen, just a lone shoe. And you just think, I wonder what happened there. And then you carry on with your day, which is exactly what I did. But a week goes by and the shoe is still there. It's now joined by a man's shirt. A couple of days after that, same shoe, same shirt, pair of man's pants. Now that is one woman just really slowly dumping her boyfriend. Am I going to come out in 6 weeks' time? There's going to be a big pile of clothes and just a severed cock on the top. I mean, I haven't dumped anybody in a while. Is that still how we do it, girls? Is it? Yes, it is. Oh, good to know. Thank you. But I decided probably about 6 months ago now to try to sort of better myself. And I'm not really bothered about losing weight, but I quite like the idea of getting fit. So I thought I'd get myself an exercise DVD. Now, you know when your partner goes shopping and they say, do you want anything? And they want you to say no, but instead you give them a list. I love doing that. Sometimes I just make shit up I don't even need. Just to see the look on his face. He looks at the list, he goes, what's the difference between a tangerine and a satsuma? It's a test. So I said, could you get us an exercise DVD, please? Just a basic one, like a bog standard, like a beginner's guide. And he said, no problem. And he came home with Davina's Buff Your Abs. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to lose 3 stone before I can find me fucking abs. So I took her back to the shop and I swapped it for the one that I wanted, which was, you know, just Fat Lass Has a Go. For the sequel, Fat Lass Tries Again. And I watched the first few minutes. You know how it's always a celebrity and a trainer, isn't it? Because the celebrity is the one that sells the DVDs and the trainer is the one that knows what they're doing. I watched the first few minutes. They were both laughing at nothing. It was very unnerving. And the trainer said to the celebrity, "Why don't you tell the viewers at home what weight you were when you started this regime?" And the celebrity went, "When I started this regime, I was 10 stone. I realised then that I'm aiming for her start weight. But my friend said to me, just get some exercise equipment. If you buy it, you've got it at home, you'll use it all the time. And I thought, bless her cotton socks, she's got no idea, has she? That's not how it works at all, is it? I've got a cross trainer that I've had for 3 years. I've used it twice, and I've got the feet level so I can put books on them. But my friend said, get a treadmill. She said treadmills are really good. Give us a cheer if you've never owned a treadmill. Exactly, because we clearly know something that she doesn't, that you can still have the benefits of a treadmill without having to actually buy a treadmill. All you need is some socks and a slippy floor. What we'll do is we'll be sitting side by side on the sofa, me and me fella. He'll get up to get something, probably a packet of biscuits. And when he gets up, I just hold on to the back of his pants. And he does this for a bit. And then I twang it back into place. He gets some exercise, I get a look at his arse. Just like in a proper gym. But I like to eat. I don't think it's a fault to enjoy your food. Give us a cheer if you enjoy your food. I sometimes think I might have a tapeworm, but that it's just full. I went into a milkshake shop and they had on the wall like a menu of all the milkshakes that were on offer. And I picked what I thought was clearly the best one, but it had a stupid name. But I thought, well, it's the best one, I'm going to have to ask for it. And the young lad behind the counter clearly knew what was coming because he's already pissing himself. And I built up all my courage and I went, Can I have a large shake what your mama gave you? And my boyfriend, quick as a flash, just went, what, asthma? But I had a pie the other day. I had a pie every day. And as I was eating it, I realised I was enjoying the pastry more than the meat. That's quite weird, isn't it? It's like somebody giving you a birthday card and you keep in the envelope. It does make sex a lot easier, though, because if I'm horny and on my own, I just suck a condom. Oh, that's a bit too much for some of you, isn't it? But severed cock was champion, was it? But I am trying to eat more healthily. I am trying. I went to the supermarket recently with my friend, and we wanted to get some crisps. And we wanted to get the proper size bags, you know, not like the little ones that you get for when Bane's around. You know what I mean? Like the proper adult bags, you know, the ones that you've got to empty into a bowl that you'd normally mix things in. My friend spotted that there was an offer on, and she wanted Doritos and I wanted Sensations because I'm a bit posher than she is. And but the 2-for-1 offer didn't go across brands, and we were quite sad by that. And she said, "You know what we should do? We should just get 2 bags of each." And I grabbed her hand and I went, "You know what? Sometimes you've just got to let these offers go." But I am trying to eat more healthily. I had an apple. Thank you. It's a couple of months ago. I put it in my handbag on an optimistic Monday. And by the Thursday, there weren't any Kit Kats left. And I was hungry, and I thought, I'm going to have to find this bloody apple. So I rooted around in my bag, and I found it. It was prematurely bruised and battered because it had been in my bag for so long. And it had pen on it. But I was starving. So I peeled off the clean panty liner, and I ate it. Who knew apples were all right? It reminded me of something I hadn't had for years that I really liked, and I was like, what does it remind me of? And I remembered it was toffee apples. But I live on my own. Give us a woo if you live on your own. A few of you do. You might not know this if you live on your own. You can still have breakfast in bed. What I do if I fancy breakfast in bed, just before I go to bed, I put a Twix on the bedside cabinet. And then when I wake up the next day, as my eyes are focusing, I think, there's a fucking Twix just there! But sometimes, there's just a wrapper. I've obviously got up for a wee in the night, haven't I? Either that or the tooth fairy's moved over to the dark side. Have we got single people in tonight? Give us a woo if you're single. We got couples in? More of you, but not as enthusiastic. We got a couple at the front. How long have you two been together?
30 years.
30 years. Well, some places that would have got a round of applause. Everybody just went, fucking hell. It was just a lovely noise, like a, oh. Can we see if we can do it again? I've never heard 3,500 people do that noise. See if we can do it after 3. 1, 2, 3. 30 years, well done. And we've got you're quite a new couple. How long have you two been together? 4 months. 4 months. Oh, you're clapping that one? Well done, 4 months. 30 years, fuck you. I've been with my fella for 6 years, and it's gone really well. A friend of mine, though, recently fell in love, even more recently than you two. They've been together about a month, and they're adorable. She'd been single for a couple of years, so that means that little bit more to her, you know. And they're so lovely, they're so adorable, like to watch, you know. No. I mean when I'm with them. I don't mean like this. She shut her bedroom curtains, what a slag. But she said to me that whenever she sees him, she gets sweaty palms. Isn't that lovely? It's adorable, isn't it? 4 months together, what other signs of love do you think there are apart from sweaty palms? Give us a suggestion, what do you think?
I miss her a lot when I'm not with her.
You miss her when you're not with her? I can't take the piss out of that. I really want to, but I can't. You really miss her? Oh, that's so adorable. And 30 years together, but your palms are bone dry, are the flower? What other signs of love? We could clearly learn a lot from. 30 years together, it's very, very impressive. What do you reckon? What are the signs of love?
A kiss before you go to bed.
A kiss before you go to bed.
If I get home and she hasn't changed the lock.
If you get home and she hasn't changed the lock. I love the power balance between you two. You just want a kiss of him. He's worried he's never going to see you again. Or any of his things, or CDs, or anything. Just bye. That's, bless you. That's weird, but nice. Let's open it up to the rest of you guys. What about upstairs? What are the signs of love? Do we think we've got sweaty palms, we've got missing each other, we've got a kiss before bed? Whereabouts was the kiss? Lips. All right, okay. Don't. They're making us say a top or bottom. Top, that's fine. And not being locked out. Or, well, forever, permanently. What other signs of love upstairs, do we think? Leaving the toilet door open. For everything or just number ones? Oh, you just keep the conversation going? So, I mean, I said to him, just give us a minute, love. I'm just gonna, That is that love? That's gross, is what that is, I think. Thank you, Flower. Any other ones from upstairs? Signs of love? Did you say depression? Thank you very much. much for coming to the show. I started my tour in September. Before that, I did some previews up and down the UK. I did a preview in a place called Preston. Are we aware of Preston? Yeah. I parked my car. I don't know if this is a good indication of what people are like in Preston, but I parked my car outside of the venue, and as I walked into the venue, a man offered me anal sex. So I was late. I was going to say I'll tell you a bit about me, but I think I just have. It's lovely to be here, though. It's a nice temperature in here, isn't it? We'll get warmer as we go on, obviously, the lights and whatnot. I respond in quite a peculiar way to the heat, I think, mostly sort of here. I realised I aimed that just at you guys in the front there, didn't I? Sorry about that. Hey, upstairs can have a go. There you go. Down there gets what I call claggy. Anybody else got a good word for that? Anybody else? Moist. Who said moist? Moist is a good word. What was that one? Sticky. Oh, there was a lady the other day said, what you've got there is LDF. I said, what does LDF stand for? She said, long day Fanny. When I said claggy and Preston, a man said, oh no, we call that ready. But what I do when it gets moist and sticky, I just do a plie. I'm not a massive belly dancer, but if I was a belly dancer, I would clearly be a massive one. I just do that. You only get a couple of seconds relief because it mostly just slicks back together. I did a show in Edinburgh and a lady at the back of the room shouted out, you need to use some talc. And I thought, surely that just forms a paste. I've got a bit of pop trivia for you. You might not know this. You know Rihanna? You know Rihanna? Yeah. She has insured her legs for $1 million. And I don't really know why. Because I'm pretty sure she's a singer. Yes? Yes, thank you. And I'm almost certain you can do that sitting down. I mean, her legs aren't proper anyway. They don't meet at the top or anything. My mum would say about her, she couldn't stop a pig in an alleyway. Just for the record, I could totally stop a pig in an alleyway. Stop it, stun it, put it in me fucking freezer. I do have a good relationship with my mum. You know, sometimes in comedy you laugh at things because it's familiar, because it's a shared experience. Sometimes you laugh because you're just glad you're not me. I think this next thing might fall into the latter category. See if this has happened to anybody else. Whenever I'm on the phone to me mum, it always makes me need a poo. Give us a woo if that's happened to you. If you're good. I've looked into it. It's a closeness issue. It means that me and those people who wooed, we love our mums more than the rest of you lot love yours. I love my mum so much it makes me shit. Try getting that on a balloon on Mother's Day. Thank God for Moonpig. But I discovered something about myself recently that I did not know. I discovered that I am a workaholic. Haven't always been a workaholic. I think it's much easier to be a workaholic when you love your job, which I do. But before this, when I had a proper job and I worked in an office Monday to Friday, I was not a workaholic. I was very happy at 5 o'clock to go, bye, fuck the lot of you. But I read an article about workaholics by a man called Oliver Berkman, and he said people are workaholics for one of two reasons. Either they're hiding away from something at home, or they have nothing else going on in their lives. And I realised quite sadly that I fell into the latter category. I had my job, but I didn't really do or have anything else. One of the remedies he suggested to fix this, he said, actively create meaning elsewhere. And that's what I decided to do over the last 12 months, and that is what my show is about. Now, the first thing I decided to do, I decided to buy a house. I'd lived in the same rented city centre flat in Manchester for the last 6 years, and I really wanted somewhere, I wanted a house, I wanted to settle down. I wanted a house mostly because I'd lived in flats for 16 years, and I really missed going upstairs to bed. Not through the fucking kitchen. Upstairs to bed. But I was sitting only a few weeks ago, quite smugly, upstairs in bed, thinking, this is the life, I've arrived, I'm upstairs in bed. And then I thought, shit, now I've got to go downstairs for food. But what I wanted was somewhere that makes me feel the same way my parents' house makes me feel. They've lived in the same house since they got married 47 years ago. Exactly, and this is what I wanted. I wanted somewhere that I could build memory after memory after memory. Now, I was there sort of late summer last year with my sister, the four of us just sitting around with cups of tea around the kitchen table, putting the world to rights. It was lovely. And at the exact same moment, my sister and I both heard the ice cream man. And it was like no time had passed. No words were exchanged between my sister and I. She shot me a look that said, do you want one? And I shot back a look that said, of course I fucking do. She picked up her purse and she ran out of the house. When she came back in, she told me there'd be no children anywhere near the ice cream man, just a 44-year-old woman running towards it. He'd started to pull away. She had to flag him down. And as she flagged him down, he shouted out of the window, come on, missus, you can do it. She came back in with 3 ice creams, one for me, one for her, and one for me dad, because my mum doesn't really like sweet things. And she said, where's dad gone? Because my dad was no longer in the room. I said, he's gone to the toilet. Now, I don't know what your dads are like, but my dad can lose a good 20 minutes, half an hour in there. So she started to sort of lick her ice cream and kind of tidy his, do you know what I mean? Licking hers normally, but then spinning this one round. She was like a fucking machine, licking and tidying, licking and tidying, licking and tidying. This one started to get quite small, and I said, oh, that's not fair on Dad. And she said, well, what do you want me to do about it? I said, I think you should take it to him while he's on the toilet. And she said, well, if I'm going, you're coming with us. So we go upstairs together. Mum and Dad's toilet is separate from their bathroom. And I said to my sister, before you go any further, you must promise me one thing. She said, what's that? I said, you must promise me that when you open that door, you keep your eyes tight shut, because you will never be able to unsee what you are about to say. She promised. She knocked on the door. My dad said, come in, like it was an office. And with her eyes tight shut, she opened the door and handed in an ice cream. And my dad said, I cannot take that. And we thought, quite rightly, because eating an ice cream while you're doing this shit is disgusting, isn't it? But my dad said, I'm reading the paper, my hands are full. But my parents have always lived near a park, and I'd always been able to see a tree out of my bedroom window, so that became another priority. I wanted to see a tree out of my bedroom window. Didn't give a shit if it was on a fucking roundabout, just a tree. But it became very clear early on that I'm not massively suited to country living, having lived in the city centre for so long. I drove along a lovely country lane, and I saw a white marquee tent. And instead of thinking, oh, somebody's having a lovely summer party, I just thought, oh, someone's been murdered. One of the houses I looked at was owned by a couple who were getting divorced. It was very sad. And it was the husband who was showing me around. And I'd realised what was going on straight away, and I decided just to go through it very quickly because it was clearly painful for both of them. Now, I don't know if you've ever been shown around a house or have shown somebody around your house, but there's a degree of stating the obvious involved, isn't there, when they say things like, this is the kitchen. I know. I mean, I call it the biscuit room, but whatever. This is the living room. Yeah, it's another biscuit room. He took me upstairs to a closed door and he said, this is the master bedroom. I said, great. He said, I'd love to show you in there, but I can't. I said, oh, why not? He said, I can't show you in there because there's a lady crying in there. Which is sad, but also quite an unusual way of describing his wife, when potentially he's the reason she's crying in the fucking first place. But I said to him, look, I'm divorced myself. I understand what you're going through. I know that this is horrible for both of you, and you just want to get it over and done with so you can both move on with your lives independently. I understand. You have my total sympathy. You really do. But I also know that you can cry in the bathroom, so fucking move her. Now, the house I looked at was owned by a really posh lady, so I already hated her. That's terrible, isn't it? I'm not supposed to hate anybody. I only hate posh twats. It's fine. I was going to say, have we got an in, but I've just remembered where I am. Yeah, you're all clapping. There'll be a couple of people at the back from Jesmond going, actually, there are posh people in tonight. But this posh lady was very dramatic in all of her gestures. She said to me, there is underfloor heating throughout. I said, that doesn't impress me, love. I've got slippers. And then, as if to hammer it home, she said, there isn't a single radiator in the whole building. And I, because sometimes my mouth kicks in before my brain's had a chance, just said, well, how'd you dry your knickers then? And the friend that I was with said, just chuck them on the floor. But I found a house that I liked and I got a survey done and the survey came back and it meant nothing to me at all. But luckily I've got a friend who's a builder and he said, let me have a look at it and I'll put it into layman's terms for you. I said, smashing. Now give us a cheer if you own your own home. Give us a cheer if you rent. See, up until this point, I'd only ever rented, and I think there are phrases that mean nothing to those of us who rent that the rest of you understand. Because my friend, the builder, said, there is one thing you will need. I said, oh yeah, what's that? He said, you'll need a damp-proof course. And I genuinely said, I haven't got time to go to college. But the house that I bought had a log burner. I've never had a log burner before. I got quite excited about the log burner. Not as excited as my fella did. He just went, oh my God, we'll be able to get a toasting fork. Oh, we'll be able to toast things. And I thought, he does know I've got a toaster, doesn't he? But I went straight out. He went to work, I went straight out and bought a toasting fork. And I came back in, I grabbed a loaf of bread and I thought, I'm just going to sit and work my way through. I fucking love toast. But I couldn't get it to work, and I rang him and I said, I can't get it to work. He said, how can it not work? It's fire and bread. And I told him what I'd been doing. Turns out I should have had the little door open. But I've recently been invited to more weddings, and I went to one a few months ago and it was lovely. And instead of having a wedding cake, they had a spiral cake stand that had cupcakes all the way around and a massive cupcake on the top that I sort of had my eye on. I suspected maybe one of the wedding party had claimed that as well. But the groom came over to me and he said, thanks for the recommendation, because I'd recommended the cupcake shop. That's a scary day when you realise you've just recommended a cupcake shop and you don't even live in that fucking town. And he said, thanks for the recommendation. I know you want a cake. What we're going to do, the band's going to come in a minute. The band's going to do 2 sections. In their break, that's when we're going to do cake stuff. I said, brilliant. So pretty much every time the band looked like they were coming to the end of a song, I just stood up. And when I was eventually right, I went over to the cake stand, I picked a cake, my boyfriend was behind me, he did the same, my friend's wife, 4 of us picked our cakes, went back to our seats, smug as fuck that we'd missed the queue. Glanced across expecting to see a long line of people. The only people that were there were the bride and groom having their photos taken at the cake stand. The groom came over later and I said, I'm really sorry, but I think we might have jumped the gun on the cakes. And he said, don't worry, when I put the photos up on Facebook, I'm going to tag every gap with your fucking name. But me and my fella try and be romantic to each other whenever we feel like it. Sometimes we celebrate Valentine's Day, sometimes we don't. We didn't this year, we did last year. Last year, a few days before Valentine's Day, he said to me, I could do with some suggestions sort of on the present front. And I said, that's fine, because I know some women like a surprise. But I'm quite happy to know what it is, because I'm really busy and I don't have time to take the bugger back. So I said to him, I said, there's a shop called Accessorize that I love. I said, you could pretty much get anything in there and you'd be on safe ground. I described the kind of thing that I like. I said, it's relatively inexpensive costume jewellery, sort of this sort of thing, sort of beads and little flowery earrings, sort of quite plasticky, quite girly, you know, quite cheap. Nothing that looks like actual jewellery. And he said, fine, logged. I do love him, but that's what he's like, logged. And off he went. And I want to show you what he bought us. Bear in mind, the last thing I said to him was nothing that looks like actual jewellery. First thing he bought us was 9 pairs of identical diamond earrings. And just in case I was thinking, well, that's not enough diamond earrings for a girl who's got her ears pierced just the once, Another 3 pairs of almost identical diamond earrings. And any ladies might well have noticed, especially near the front, that they're not from Accessorise, they're from Claire's Accessories. So I said to him, they're lovely, thank you. But you didn't make it to Accessorise then? He said, I went to the girl shop. I said, yes, it's a 12-year-old girl shop. I reminded him that that's where we got presents for his nieces, who were 11 and 12, and he went, yeah, because they're girls. His logic was brilliant. I thought he must have walked in Claire's Accessories and gone, she wants anything from in here. I'm probably lucky that he didn't come home with a tiara with fucking kittens on it. He said, there's something else in the bag. Oh, great. He said, I got you a couple of bangles. I said, they're earrings. He said, they're bangles. I said, they're earrings. They're like, I'm off to McDonald's and I want to fit in. I said, they've got a little hinge so that you can get them in your ears. He said, that's so that you can get them on your wrists. He thought of everything, apart from anything I told him. I said, I just hope that when you got to the till, you didn't tell the lady that they were for your girlfriend, because if you did, you might well be on some kind of fucking register now. But what I've decided to do in order to help me relax is just to find things that make me happy, because I think generally whatever makes you happy makes you relaxed. And I thought at 35 that I knew everything that I liked, but in the last 12 months I found 2 new things that I didn't know I liked. The first one was courtesy of a nice lady on Facebook who said, I understand that you like chocolate, but I don't know if you know this fact, that if you have a square of dairy milk and a square of Galaxy at the same time, it's so good that it makes you do sex noises. I mean, like, good ones. I don't mean like, oh, get it out. I can tell some of you are now working out your route home via a newsagent. Please like the show should be sponsored, because I'm telling you, go out and buy chocolate. The show's not sponsored. But if your future show is called Sarah Millican, then maybe things have changed. The other thing I didn't know I liked, I told you I don't have kids. A friend of mine had a baby in August last year. And I thought I'd buy a present for the baby, because that's what you do, isn't it? I went into Marx's, went into the baby section, had a wander around, realised that while I don't like children, I really love tiny clothes. Picked up a couple of baby clothes for the actual child and then saw the smallest jeans I've ever seen. So I bought them and I didn't give them to my friend. I brought them with us to show you. They do look a little bit like aspirational jeans, don't they? Someday I'm going to get in those fuckers. But I don't know what to do with them. They've been in a bag since August last year. I can't put them in a cupboard because I don't have a cupboard for children's clothes. I can't bin them. Imagine finding a black bag with just those in. I might have to kill a child to avoid looking weird. But I was trying to think of different ways to justify keeping them, like, what if a baby visitor got caught in the rain? It has slightly sinister qualities as well, though, doesn't it? Well, let's get you out of those wet things. So I Googled people who like tiny clothes, thinking there must be more than me. There's probably a website, there might even be a support group where me tiny jeans could fit in. Nothing. The only name that kept coming up over and over again was Cheryl Cole. Because she fucking wears them. So if Cheryl Cole ever comes round to my house and shits herself... And if when she shits herself, she accidentally gets a little bit on her shoes... He's only like a month old. A different friend of mine had a baby a month ago, and I said to my boyfriend, I'm going to go and get a present for the baby, and he knows me so well that he said, while you're there, why don't you treat yourself? Yes. So I picked up a little cardigan, a little pair of jeans for the actual child, and then I saw those and I thought, I'm fucking having them. But I'm aware that it's weird. Don't worry about me, I'm fine. But I didn't want it to look weird to the lady on the till, so I made sure they're all the same age group, and all sort of matched colour-wise, and I put them on the counter. And she said, these are lovely, aren't they? And I said, yeah, they're for my friend. My friend's just had a baby. And she said, oh, if that's the case, would you like some gift receipts? And I said, oh, just for the cardi and the jeans, because I'm going to keep the plimsolls for me. Oh, shit. My friend said, are you going to get a denim jacket to go with them? I said, I'm not trying to build a tiny Bryan Adams. I'm so grateful for you all to come tonight. Thank you very much for coming. I'm going to leave you on a story. Me and my fella don't really get nights off together very often, so when we do, we try to make the most of it. And went out on, we call them like a date night. Went out on a date night recently, had a curry, lovely curry, got in, put a DVD on, everything going really well. Halfway through the film started to get a little bit amorous, a little bit frisky, which I suppose is one of the points of the date night. Seemingly, we'd forgotten that 2 hours before that, we'd had a curry. Nevertheless, he went downstairs. I don't mean for a glass of water. I already told you I live in a flat, fucking work it out. The only reason he'd go downstairs is to do the bins. And that should never be a euphemism for that. Do you fancy doing the bins later on? It doesn't work, does it? No. So he went downstairs. Do you know why I do it like that as well, like in that little stupid voice? Downstairs. That's not how I ask him for it, by the way. Downstairs. You go downstairs later on. Will you do the bin? So he was downstairs. And there's no nice way of saying this to you lovely people, but I could feel a fart brewing. Nobody knows what to do they? There's no plan of action for this. So what I did, and I don't really know why I did this, certainly don't know why I'm telling you lot. Similar to in the film Rain Man, I started going, uh-oh. 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 And he carried on, because as he told me afterwards, he thought I was doing an impression of Beyonce. The whole seduction thing, I think that's fairly evident from what I've told you so far, isn't it? But I walked in on him the other day and he was lying on the bed just in his pants, because you know how men think that's attractive. And he had one bollock hanging out. And I thought, I'm going to have to pull him on it. Question him on it, not pull him on it. If only they made that noise. If they made that noise, I'd never leave the little buggers alone. I said, do you know that you've got a bollock hanging out? He said, yes, I do. I put it out especially for you. You lot have been such a joy. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I've been Sarah Millican. Thank you very much. Good night. Very much. I'll tell you a little thing and then I'll let you go home. I've started doing this thing, maybe some of you already do this. I've started listening to people's conversations on the bus and on the train. And I was listening recently to two old ladies and they were talking about what they would do if they were men for a day. I thought, these answers are going to be pretty good because these old ladies have got this wealth of experience, you know. These answers are going to be quite insightful. And I was going out for lunch with three of my friends and I thought I'll ask them the same question. So I said to my first friend, what would you do if you were a man for a day? Without even thinking, she just went, I'd have a wank! I said, God, it sounds like you need to. You sound a bit tense, pet. Second friend, I said, what would you do? She said, I'd just do everything. And I thought she meant like in a sexual way, like she'd fuck everything. I said, is that what you mean? Like you'd do everything? And she went, no, just all the little jobs round the house. But these old ladies, different generation to me, my friends. In their 80s they were. And one of them just said, Edith, what would you do if you're a man for a day? The other one said, no, on my luck, I'd get a Tuesday. And what can you do on a Tuesday? But my third friend, and I will leave you with this, my third friend took ages to answer. I said, come on, give us an answer. And she said, OK, the first thing I would do is go and find my ex-boyfriend and thwack my hard penis across his face and see how he likes it first thing in the morning. My dad has a mobile phone. He's getting on, he's nearly 70, he's got a mobile phone, and it's mostly for incoming, so me and my sister can text him to see we're all right, or we can ring him if we need him. He's not really bothered about texting out. He finds it a lot of faff, but doesn't really have the patience anymore. So to make his life easier, and fuck knows who taught him how to do this, he set himself a template text, which he sends out regardless of the situation. And the template text says, "Champion, love Dad." Regardless of whether I've won an award or been shitting myself all night, champion, love Dad. I've been trying to think of a question that I could ask him where that would be a really good answer. And the only one I can come up with is, Dad, what was the name of the Wonder Horse on the telly in the 80s? But it was about this time last year that I was worried about my family. My mum and dad are both retired and both disabled. And I was worried about them sort of thinking before they put the heating on. You know, it was a very cold winter. Sort of thinking, can we afford it before they put the heating on? And I said, you know what, you've looked after me all these years, including the 2. I moved back in after I got divorced. Never have kids, because I never properly fucking leave. I said, maybe I could start giving you a bit of a hand. Maybe I could start paying your heating bill. Not happy, not happy. Very proud people, my parents. There was a lot of sort of wrestling went on. I mean, verbal. I wanted to have my dad on the floor, popping out hips willy-nilly. And they eventually agreed. They still weren't happy about it, but they agreed it's the most sensible option, started to pay for the heating bill. A month later, I went to visit them. My dad opened the front door, and he was just wearing vest and pants. And I went, Dad, it's 3 in the afternoon. Why haven't you got any clothes on? It's boiling in there. And I heard my sister shout from the kitchen, we've never even been on holiday anywhere this hot. But we had a very good upbringing. We always had loads of pets. We had loads of pets. Give us a cheer if you've got a pet. I'm very jealous. I'd love to have a pet. I don't have that kind of lifestyle. I'm away from home too much and it would be cruel. So me and my fella, when we've got a bit of time off, like an afternoon off, we like to go to zoos and aquariums. But you can't always do that because those places are expensive and they take up a lot of time. So we have perfected the art of wandering round pets at home. You got to go in with a lot of confidence, you know. That you could totally own a fish, you know. To be fair, I sometimes wander around baby clothes shops and I haven't got a baby. That's a lot weirder. I always think I can pass as a new mum because I've got a bit of a belly and I always look knackered. And if I think anybody's suspicious, I just lob a boob out. That doesn't work in Pets at Home. The last time we were in Pets at Home, they had a special section to one side of animals that had been reduced. Just let that sink in for a second. Reduced. It was one of the saddest things I think I've ever seen. They had a big rabbit in a hutch, much bigger than the other sort of sexy rabbits. Sexy is not the right word, is it? Depends on the rabbit. Thank you. And the big rabbit, to make it that little bit more heartbreaking, they'd written a sign for it in the first person. And the sign said, "Hi, I'm Honey. I'm a little bit bigger than the other rabbits. I'm a little bit older than the other rabbits. Please take me home." I thought you never expect to come face to face with a rabbit equivalent of your teenage self. I didn't buy it. It's got to learn. Well, we had loads of pets when we were kids. We had rabbits and budgies and hamsters and fish and dogs. We had loads of things. But whenever they died, we were never told that. We were just told some story instead, some lie. Anybody else have this? Yeah. What lies were you told? Shout out. Gone to a farm. What animal was it, love? A dog. Oh, it's still in your voice, isn't it, Flower? Dog. Farm, dog. Can't talk anymore. There was a lady the other day, she said, my rabbit never died. I said, what? My rabbit never died. It's just sometimes a different colour. And occasionally it was a guinea pig. Any others apart from the dog on the farm? What was that, love? Your snail ran away. Snail's not a pet, love. But did it have a name? No. That's why it ran away, Flower. You didn't give a shit. Any others? Swam down the toilet. I take it was a fish, was it, love? Yes? Yeah, was it? Oh, bless you. Yes. Ooh. Went for a holiday in the Lavie. There was a lady the other day, she said that she'd had a goldfish, and when it had died, she'd been told that it swam away out of the bowl. And while I was talking to her, but a chat broke out at the other side of the audience, and I thought I'd better see what's going on over here. So I finished with a lady whose fish had swam away out of the bowl, and I looked across here and I said, what's going on? And over here was a lady in her 50s, another lady in her 70s, potentially mother and daughter. And I said, what's happening? What had happened? The lady in her 50s had gone, hey, that's a shame, isn't it? That lady was lied to about her fish swimming away. Because my fish actually swam away, didn't it, ma'am? And the old lady was pissing herself laughing. But we had the farm one. We were told gone to live on a farm to keep an old man company. When it happened to our dog, we were gutted. When it happened to me nana, we were thrilled. But my favourite one was a young Geordie lad when I did the Edinburgh Festival last year. He said he'd had terrapins and he'd been told they'd left to join the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think my cautious nature is I think it's a control issue. I think I'm a bit of a control freak. I think that's what it sort of boils down to. I like to be in charge of all areas of my life. And as I get older, I realise maybe that's not the right thing. Maybe I need to calm down. Maybe I need to let other people do things for me. Maybe I need to be a little bit more spontaneous. Maybe I need to worry a little bit less about my back door, you know? Well, that sounds terrible. No. At least you know it's clean, though, don't you? And I could do a bungee jump, but, you know, for me it's all about small steps and trying not to shit myself. So I have some space dust in my pocket. Give us a wave if you've done this. What do I do, love? Just put it in, that's it. Can I just do a little bit? Put it all in, like you bastards. All of it. We've paid our money, put it all in. Okay. Any more tips? Don't tell your mum. I won't if you don't, Flower. Okay, let's do it. Come. What was that, love? Hold it in me mouth. That was worth shouting out twice, wasn't it, Flower? Okay, let's do it like, can we do clap? Clap, clap. Crackling, is that it? Is that all it does? 36 years, is that fucking it? My mum thinks this is drugs. What about if I put it somewhere else? Not now, don't start clapping. No, you're not the boss of me. I was trying to wash it away. It appears to have made it a lot worse. Does it come out the same way? Does it come out the same way? Well, I have to remember I've had this tomorrow. You know, like sometimes when you have a beetroot scare. I nearly did me sex face for you there. It's nearly gone. I've never been so happy about swallowing in my whole life. Probably do it more often if it tasted like that. you could combine the two. I'm nearly there. Give us a minute. Still fucking going. I have to confess that I have done this each night on tour. My mum's right, I'm fucking hooked. Oh, you've been a lovely audience. Thank you very much for coming. Let me leave you with one final thing. Some people think the reason that I'm cautious is that I'm scared, that I'm sort of scared of life, and that's why I pull back, and I disagree entirely. I love life, I embrace life, I just want it to last as long as possible, and I think that's fairly reasonable, isn't it? I used to think that premature death was the worst thing. Nobody wants to go before their time, but I don't know if it is the worst thing anymore. I was in my car about 6 months ago, driving along, had the radio on, and on the radio came a news report. And on the news report, a policeman said that a body had been found, a female body, and it had been found in suspicious circumstances. It was horrible, of course it was. And at the end of the report, he said that there were definitely no sexual motives. And I thought, if there's one thing worse than being found dead, it's if they look at your body and go... No way. I'd have trimmed that if I were her. You've been lovely. Thank you very much for coming. Good night. I'll tell you a little thing and then you can all go home and take your bras off and do your belts. Don't forget about the men. I'm going to tell you another one of my euphemisms, if that's all right. Let's see if we can get this into common usage, if possible. There's a specific scenario for this euphemism. You know when you really need to poo, but for whatever reason you can't go. It's the wrong time or the wrong place. You're going to have to hold it in maybe for 5 minutes, maybe for 6 hours, whatever. Then when you're 10 minutes away from a place or a time when you can... offload. Your body knows, doesn't it? And it begins the countdown. Which in my case is an almost constant stream of farts. This is where you join the scene. I'd been on trains and in meetings all day. I burst through my front door, just wanted to go on my own toilet. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? Boyfriend was in the living room. He came out in the hallway and he went, "How's your day been, love?" And I needed to very quickly tell him that we weren't going to be chatting straight away. So I said, "I'm sorry, love. I can't talk right now. The trailers have started." My fella doesn't wave, doesn't occur to him in the slightest. When we first got together, one of the times he dropped me off at the train station, I got out the car and I said, "I'll see you on Tuesday." He said, yeah, but I'll give you a ring when I get in tonight. I said, smashing. And then I checked just to make sure I was at the right door for my particular platform at this train station. And I turned to give him a little wave goodbye and the car was already in the distance. A few years later, I was going to Australia for the first time. I was travelling alone. I was going to be away for 6 weeks. I was very nervous. He dropped me off at the airport. He helped me out of the boot. With my case. No, sorry. With my case, no. He's not that much of a psychopath. I'm allowed to sit in the car at the moment. But I had this huge case, so he helped me get the case out. And I said, "Oh, God, I'm going to miss you." And he said, "I'm going to miss you too." But he said, "You know what? We can Skype whenever you like." He said, "You know, you're going to have an amazing time and I'll come and get you in 6 weeks' time." Bless. And then I did that thing, you have to check you've got your passport and your ticket and your keys and your wallet. I checked all the things I needed in my bag. And then I checked I was at the right terminal and I turned to give him a little wave goodbye. 6 weeks we were going to be apart. We'd never been apart that length of time before. I turned to give him a little wave goodbye and I could not see the car. He was already on the fucking motorway. So I said to him recently, I said, "You know the waving thing?" He said, "Did I forget to do it again?" I said, "No, it's fine, don't worry." I said, "I know you don't do it." But I said, "You know how much I love it?" He said, "Yes, I know how much you love to wave." I I said, I was just wondering if there was a bargaining thing we could do. He said, I don't know what you mean. I said, well, for example, is there anything I don't do that you'd like me to start doing? Turns out I'm not as bothered about waving as I thought. But when I lived alone, I really liked it. I really liked living alone. But one of the things I love about living with somebody else again is I like the unpredictability of it. I like that every now and again a sentence will come out that I would never have said. The most recent one, out of nowhere, he just went, your shed's no good to have a wank in. And I said, that's because it's a greenhouse, love. But you know, we're all getting older. I turned 39 this year. I'm not worried about turning 40 next year. I'm not worried about getting older at all. And I think that's because I have good friends in their 40s, 50s, 60s. My parents are sort of late 60s, early 70s. And they all seem to be having quite a nice time. What I see as my future is not a scary one. My parents have this thing that I think happens to a lot of people when they retire, is all of a sudden they can see their friends a lot more often. They can do hobbies they've never had time for. And they're so busy, they think to themselves, how on earth did we fit work in? Which must be a lovely state of affairs, mustn't it? My mum was showing us her diary because she said it was chock-a-block. She said, look at this. She said we were going to go and see Oliver the Musical that day, but we can't because we forgot we had Swan Lake booked in at the Empire. She's only this tall. She looked up at me with this face that I adore and she went, I haven't got time to die. I said, I don't think that's how it works, Mum. Just the Grim Reaper standing behind and she's going, I can't do October. I can't do November. I want to see Tony Bennett in November. The Grim Reaper's like, Tony Bennett, I've been after him for years. But for the last 16 or maybe even 17 years, my mum and dad's annual holiday has been 1 week in Edinburgh. They love the city, they have friends there, they go, they have a smashing time, they come home, all good. But for some unknown reason, 2 years ago, they decided to book a cruise. And I said to me, Mum, that's very adventurous. What made you book a cruise? And she said, we just saw them loads on the telly. And I said, yeah, Mum, I'm pretty sure that was the news. They were running aground and people were dying. And my mum and dad are like, that looks lovely, sure we'll do that. My parents and all have a similar joy for life. They have a real knack for being able to turn a bad situation into a good one. I think it's something we could really learn from, all of us, I think. I'll give you an example of this. They're both semi-retired and my father-in-law was caught speeding. Now, I don't know if you know this, I didn't know this, that if you're caught speeding and you choose to do the speed awareness course, that you have to do it in the town where you were caught as opposed to where you live if it's different. They're based in the Midlands. He was caught speeding in Bournemouth. And my mother-in-law said to me, we've decided to make a weekend of it. Isn't that adorable? But I know getting older is no plain sailing. I know that there are problems along the way. One of my friends is in her 60s. Have we got any women who are 60 or above? Give us a cheer. A few of you, so maybe you can vouch if this is true or not. One of my friends, she's 62, and she said, there's something I need to tell you. I said, that sounds really serious. Is it serious? She said, well, I just don't want it to come as much of a surprise to you as it did to me. I said, OK, well, you better tell us what it is then. She said, when you get to my age, down there, instead of it being a lovely, healthy pink colour, I could have walked away right then and there. Whatever you've got, I don't want to know. Instead of it being a lovely, healthy pink colour, it's more of a slate grey. It's the detail that I love. She didn't say grey, she said slate grey. Like she'd had the Dulux colour chart out. Here, Terry, look at that. Do you think that's thunder or slate? I was so horrified by what I just learned that I blurted out, you mean like when meat's on the turn? Does that smell all right to you? There'll be a few handbag mirrors coming out when they get in tonight, I reckon. But my mum is nearly 70 and she's in a wheelchair, and sometimes people are mean to her because she's in a wheelchair, which is horrible and hurts all of us, but her especially. And I was trying to think of just some small way that she could retaliate when that happens to make her feel a little bit better, you know. And I was trying to teach her the cough swear thing. You know the cough swear thing? Arsehole. I was trying to teach her that. Because she's always so immaculately dressed and her nails are always perfect. And I thought nobody for a second would suspect. They'd be like, did that lady just? Did she just? Arsehole. Did she just? No, look at her nails. Get her a lozenge. So we talked about it, we laughed about it, we moved on in conversation. About 10 minutes later, I told about something entirely different. And my mum said, I had to go to the doctors this week. I said, oh, is everything all right? She said, yeah, but I had to see the nurse. I said, oh, is that not good? She said, oh, it's the one I don't really like. I said, oh, never mind. She said, yeah, you know the one I think's a bit of a cunt? What have I done? She did the cough like it was a full stop. My family are hilarious. It's very good. We all know that it's good to laugh. It is good to laugh when you're with your friends or your family. We all know laughing does you good because it's medically proven to do you good, isn't it? It's medically proven to do you good because it gets all of your dolphins out. And you don't want them cooped up, do you? No. It's just cruel. But I'm lucky that I have very funny friends and family. And when I'm with my friends, it's amazing. So one of them will say something funny, somebody tops and I top, and it goes up and up and up and up. And it's great. But I've noticed recently one of my friends isn't really playing the game, and every time he says something, the whole lot comes crashing down and turns to shit. So what I do now, just before he says anything at all, I just go, bank. You've been lovely. Let me leave you with this. I suppose what I'm trying to say in my show is that I'd like my life to slow down a bit. It's been very fast for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's been amazing, but I'd really like it to slow down a bit. I was very slow as a child. Not like that. I was just a dawdler. I used to take ages to do everything. I'd take ages to eat my breakfast. I'd take ages to put my clothes on. Take ages to walk to school. But my mum was a busy mum. She had stuff to do, but she never said, come on, chop, chop, hurry up, we're going to be late. She didn't say any of those things. Instead of saying those things, she used to do the music from silent films. So I'd be eating my breakfast really slowly, and she'd lean right into my ear and go, diddly-dee, diddly-dee, diddly-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Just makes you naturally quicken, I don't know why. I've only once used it as an adult. You're a very smart crowd. And just so you know, it totally works.